They didn't hear gunfire. They heard skis. In the frozen forests of Finland, an army vanished not to bullets, but to the cold itself. This was the War of the Iron Snow. In 1939, the Soviet Union invaded Finland with 500,000 soldiers, tanks, artillery. Endless columns marching into the white expanse. They expected a swift victory, a nation crushed under the weight of overwhelming force. Finland had a different answer. They answered with snow. The Finnish army was outnumbered, outgunned, and seemingly outmatched in every conventional way, but they possessed a weapon the invaders couldn't comprehend. The brutal, unforgiving Nordic winter. The Finnish soldiers weren't elite commandos on paper. They were farmers, hunters, loggers, and local ski patrols. Men who had spent their entire lives navigating these forests, understanding the rhythms of the ice and wind. They were born in winter, and winter listens to its own. Dressed in white camouflage, gliding on skis, they became ghosts in the snow. Their rifles were wrapped in white cloth, their breath turned to frost, but their purpose was crystal clear. They knew every trail, every frozen lake, every hidden valley. This wasn't just their country, it was their element. They knew they couldn't win a head-on fight, so they didn't. Instead, they perfected the art of guerrilla warfare, a strategy they called Marty tactics. The word means a bundle of logs, and that's exactly what they did to the massive Soviet columns. They didn't attack the front, they struck the flanks and the rear, severing supply lines that were the army's lifeblood. They targeted field kitchens first, leaving entire battalions without hot food in the sub-zero temperatures. They isolated units, cutting them off from each other, slicing the long snake of the invading army into small, digestible pieces. At night, they skied silently through enemy encampments, creating chaos and panic, often targeting officers to dismantle the chain of command. The forest itself became a prison. Then, the cold became the true weapon. Temperatures plummeted to -40 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, metal becomes brittle. Engines refused to start. Oil froze solid. Weapons jammed. For the Soviet soldiers, unprepared and poorly equipped for such extreme conditions, the cold was a relentless enemy. Fingers and toes, blackened by frostbite, simply snapped off. They burned whatever they could for warmth, but the Finns would extinguish their fires from the darkness. Men froze in their sleep. Some froze while standing guard, becoming statues of ice, their rifles still clutched in their frozen hands. It was a silent, creeping horror that no amount of military training could prepare them for. Entire divisions were swallowed by the forest. The Marty tactic was devastatingly effective. A pocket of 10,000 men would be surrounded, cut off from food, fuel, and ammunition. The Finns wouldn't even need to launch a major assault. They would simply wait, picking off patrols, tightening the noose, and letting winter do the rest. The forest floor became a graveyard of abandoned tanks, frozen artillery, and soldiers who had succumbed not to a bullet, but to the slow, agonizing grip of the cold. An army was unmade, piece by painful piece. Finland didn't win the war through sheer numbers or superior firepower. They won their survival by knowing the land, by turning their greatest challenge into their greatest ally, and by trusting the cold to be as ruthless as any soldier. The legacy of the Winter War is a testament to resilience, strategy, and the profound power of home field advantage. It's a story whispered by the wind in the silent forests of Finland, a memory etched in the snow. Some wars are fought with steel. This one was fought with ice. Stay curious, and thanks for watching.